Hello, everyone, and welcome to ChitChats and Crowns, where I answer questions, trying to do it every day on the Discord channel. So let's see what you guys have today. All right, Kitty321 says, Melly, I am not able to take off my attention from 3P. What do I do? I am tired. Okay, that happens a lot more than you think with people who have third parties. But just remember, third party only exists because you keep giving them attention. Because the only way someone can exist in your reality is because you allow them to exist in your reality by focus, by giving it energy. Anything that exists in our reality, think of it like a video game where you know how you're in a video game and you don't know what's beyond the boundaries of what you see? Like you can only see whatever you see in that in that rectangle of a TV. So as you move the character and it starts putting its focus on certain things, you start discovering those certain things. So it's the same way with you as a character. You start discovering or you continue to see the same based on your focus. So third party is always going to be a pain in your butt as long as your focus is that. Until your focus doesn't become that they are not a threat, that you really don't care, you're unbothered, until your self-concept is like, you know what, I have nothing to worry about because I am the creator of my reality. So what I say goes. And if what I'm saying is that I am in a relationship in perfect ways with this person, so I have nothing, absolutely nothing to worry about. And you really start to embody that version of you who really isn't worried about it, who really is just living her life and knows that in perfect ways everything is going to work out for her, then that's your focus. So guess what? That's exactly what has to show up in your TV, which is your 3D. It's about embodying who you want to become in that 3D. It's like you designing that character for yourself. Like, I am someone who is completely unbothered, who is the prize, who is the one everyone pursues, who is the one that everyone chooses, who is the one that everyone's prioritized. But how does that character act in that video game, the 3D video game? How does she go about her day? If she is prioritized, chosen, the prize, would she be worried about a simple third party? Of course not. If the third party didn't even exist, what would she be doing with her day? Because obviously she's not going to be spending every single day with SP because she has a life. The character has a life. So what would she be doing on a daily basis when when she's not with SP? And you act like that, you become that. If you are thinking about 3P a lot, it means you have way too much time in your hands and you're not using your time wisely. It means you're not doing things that you're supposed to be doing. Um you are not working on things that you need to work on, things that you need to be passionate about, on things, hobbies, things that make you vibrate, you know. Yeah, you do 10,000, 20,000 affirmation dailies, but how does that help you when you're still focusing on the third party? What are you doing that you love to do in your day? What are you doing to keep yourself present and enjoying your day? Because if you're thinking about third party, it means you're not doing enough in your day that you like to do, that keeps you happy, that keeps you disciplined, that keeps you busy. You know what I mean? Because Most people tell me that, well, yeah, like I affirm 10,000, 20,000 affirmations a day, but you know, during the rest of the day, I'm like thinking that this is not working out or that this is not, maybe I need to do more. Then that keeps you in lack. What's the point of affirming 10,000 repetitions a day, which is like what, an hour of your time, 2 hours of your time? But then the rest of the 10 hours of your day, you're completely demotivated and looking for proof and staying in lack. So it like throws out the garbage everything that you did for those 2 hours. It'd be freaking better if you maintain mental diet for the whole day, a strict mental diet, only thinking about what you want, and affirm for 10 minutes a day. You get a lot more out of that. Better to just maintain a mental diet for the whole day, a strict mental diet, even just 51% of your day, a strict mental diet where you're only thinking about, I am with this person, that's who I am. I'm that person who already is in a committed relationship. I don't care what I'm seeing in 3D. Finding stuff that you're passionate about so you can get busy with your time, stuff that you're really truly passionate about. Where can I level up as a person? What can I do to level up as a person? What can I do to become a better person? What can I do to become a better girlfriend, a better wife? Whatever your end goal is, or a better husband if it's a boy, if it's a guy. Like, what can I do for that? You know? That's how you have to really think about it. Like, what can I do with my time to become a better person? Someone that the person that I want to be. What am I not doing to be that person right now? Because it's all about identity. You can affirm 10,000 repetitions a day, but if your identity during the rest of the day is that you suck at manifesting or that it's not working out for you, then what's the point of affirming 10,000 repetitions if you're throwing it all out? If you're throwing it all out by going against yourself the rest of the day. What's the max time for a manifestation to come true? There is no max time. This thing can go on and on and on, and you cannot get it if you are not being. There is no time because, like, things can show up tonight, even if you had the conviction. If your conviction was so strict, like, I already have this, I am the person who has it, like, I don't care what I am seeing. I already have it. It's all about conviction. And your conviction is what ultimately moves you along on the timelines. And the problem is that most people, they affirm without conviction or without thinking that it's true, trying to get proof so that they can believe it's true. So a lot of the issue comes down to, well, if I once I see the proof of it, then I'm gonna believe it's real, that it's happening, that it's working. And that's not how the law of assumption works. The law of assumption requires you conviction, knowing you being that person already. Like, of course I am that. Can you, with all honesty, say, I feel and I know and I am in that relationship, in that committed relationship, right now? And I can guarantee you're going to tell me no. No, because my truth and what I see as true is that he is still with 3P, with the third party, and he's living with the third party. So no, I don't believe with conviction that I am the person who has that desire. So that's why you're not seeing what you're seeing. That's why it's not going to move. That's why you're not going to switch timelines, because you're still very focused on the 3D. That's your conviction. The 3D just doesn't lie. 3D doesn't lie. The 3D is a projection of our state of being, of our limiting beliefs or belief system, and of our identity. So your identity is someone who's lacking, who has a third party, and the third party is more important. The third party is on a pedestal, and the third party has to exist, and the third party has everything you want. So that's your identity. When your identity stops being the third party, when your identity becomes, I am the main character who gets everything she wants, I am the main character who gets pursued, I am the main character who doesn't struggle, who is so successful, whose nervous system is completely regulated and she feels calm and at ease and is trusting because that's just who I am, period. That's when shit moves fast. But you can be manifesting for years and years and years. In your mind, you think you're manifesting, but really what you're doing is just wasting your time and energy because of your focus, because you don't know how to truly focus on what you want. You're very focused on the 3D and the circumstances, so you keep getting more of the same. All right. Octavia says, actually, I would love to hear a bit more about business manifestation, getting free stuff. As we talked about SP yesterday, I would like to get a second job or a side hustle. Also, would like to find a good rental real estate to invest in. Okay, let's talk about business for a little bit. With business, in my case, for example, when I didn't know what kind of business I could have, I had tried so many things that failed. So you also have to have an identity. It's all about identity, you guys. Everything. SP, business, money, everything's identity. You have to change your identity if you want to be successful. Um, because when I was trying different things, I spent so much money on trying different business ventures, but I did not have the right mindset. I was always scared. Oh, is this business going to fail? I would listen to a lot of other people saying, "Oh, that business only works for certain type of people. That business is not very lucrative," and I would adopt the limiting beliefs of other people when I would start something, when I would start a business that I wanted to do. So at some point, I completely gave up on having any type of business because I would just be wasting money and was like, this is not working out. I'm just not good at business. So I decided that my identity was going to be just someone that would work for someone else forever. And that's just how it was. Maybe I was not cut out for business and that I just had to work for someone, trade my time, and that money was time traded. That was my limiting belief, and that's what I kept telling myself, which is why when I was working about 50 to 60 hours. I thought that the more I worked, the more valuable I became as an employee, uh, and that would make me the best employee. The more stressed I was meant that I was the best employee. So I had a bad correlations with the worst things possible of like stress equals success, working more, hustling more equals you being or having more money. That's what I correlated to. And it gets very, very tiring because at the time before I knew the law, I was very stressed. I was working 50 to 60 hours a week because I thought that that would make me the best employee, that that would make me successful, and that the more stressed I was, the better person I was, or the more successful person I was. So it wasn't until I learned about the law. First, I manifested my specific person because I thought that was more impossible for me to manifest than money and business. I felt like money becoming debt free, that seemed more plausible to me to manifest. So I was like, let me focus on what seems more impossible. So when I first started the law, and because I wanted to manifest my specific person, that was my main reason for even doing it. But I was like, you know what? Even if I end up not manifesting my specific person, it's okay. I was like, I'm going to be okay. And as long as I become a better person during this process, and as long as I can break free from being as long as I could break free from being so obsessed with my specific person, or anytime that I would go out with someone, I wanted not to be emotionally codependent to them, or being so jealous, or being so not trusting of people that I would sabotage every single relationship. So I was like, as long as I can become a better person in this process, I'm going to be okay with it. But I still had conviction that I was a person who was already in a committed relationship, a harmonious, committed, beautiful relationship. So that was that. Once I manifested my SP, to me, that was like a huge, huge thing, because to me, manifesting SP seemed impossible. Just because of how my assumptions and limiting beliefs were about relationships in general, and how they were about me in general, and how they were about my SP in general. Like, I saw my SP as someone who was very stubborn, who was not open to a relationship or commitment, who was not able to fall in love, who had a lot of emotional baggage, so to me that was impossible. So I was like, if I can manifest my specific person, money and business and everything else that I want, money wise, financial wise, should be easy, because I in a way, had this belief, or had always had this belief, that some way, somehow, financially, I can be successful. I just never had the right intention to get there. So once I manifested my specific person, I went on to the next area, which was my finances. My finances were very crappy before I started the law. They were completely crappy. I was $43,000 in debt. I was working 50 to 60 hours a week. I was miserable in my job, because I also had created a lot of bad circumstances in my work environment. I had created my boss to be very annoying, very mean to me. We did not get along. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start a little small. And I was like, I'm going to start by fixing my work environment. I want to become appreciated at work. I want to be complimented at work. I want to become important at work. At that time, I think I was making not even like not even $20 an hour at that time. And I was feeling like I was not appreciated. This is why I tell people, you can't get what you are not. My boss was not going to appreciate me until I started to feel appreciated on my own. Like, people won't mirror nothing to you until you feel that first. So I started to appreciate myself first. I started to act like someone who was being appreciated. Like, I didn't expect it, and I didn't complain, and I didn't bitch when I wasn't appreciated, because I was in my mind, I'm like, I'm always appreciated. My work is wonderful. My work is amazing. Everybody loves my work. Everybody compliments my work. I am such a wonderful employee, blah blah blah. Eventually, after assuming those things, my boss started complimenting me. Everybody at work started loving to work with me. Everyone wanted to do things for me. And my boss started to appreciate me more, compliment me more, and start telling me, like, hey, you know what? Eventually, I got to the point where my boss at that time was telling me, he would tell, she needs to be in every single meeting with me. She's my right hand. That's how far I got. I had been there for years. And it wasn't until I practiced the law and started changing my identity to me telling myself I was important at that job, that I was this, I was that, that I started to be recognized at that job. And I was starting to be like, she's important. She's my right hand." And I started to do that. I realized that, and I was like, whoa, I changed the situations in my work environment. This is amazing. This is freaking amazing. So I started to work on my debt. And I started to think that I had no debt, that my debt was clear, that how amazing it was for me to be in that identity that had no debt. And so I started to work on that too. Wiped out $43,000 worth of debt. And as I kept progressing, my desires kept changing because my desire at that time was limited. My desires at the time were limited to my old identity. So remember how I told you guys that my old identity was just someone who was always going to work, trade her time for money. So in my mind, in at that point, my identity was tied to that. So I was like, I want to become the vice president of this company. That was my goal back then. It wasn't until I kept going and kept manifesting and kept changing my identity and kept realizing that I am so powerful that I was like, that's not the life that I want. That's not the life that I want. I don't want a life where I'm working 60 to 70 hours a freaking week, killing myself for a paycheck. I was like, I don't want that. And I started to realize I didn't want that. I started to realize I want to work less hours and make more money. I want to hustle less. I don't want to hustle at all. I want to do a lot less and make the money that I need to make to pay all my bills, to have enough money for all of this. And I did that. I did that, but you don't realize you don't ask for that until you're in an identity that's starting to match the powerful version of you. You don't do that because you feel limited. When you have a limited identity, your desires are very limited. Your desires are super limited. So when it comes to business, you don't even need to have a business idea, but the problem is what is your identity calling for at that time? So when I manifested my business and manifested being out of work and not having to work a 9 to 5 job, I didn't even know. I did not even know that I was going to be doing what I'm doing right now. I didn't know I was going to start a consulting business. I had no idea how to even do that. I had no idea I was going to be helping people with their operation, with the operation in their business. I had no idea that I was going to be doing AI stuff. I had no idea I was going to be doing things like that. And I am. And I make way more money in way less time than when I was um working a 9 to 5. Probably making way more money than even if I was a VP at a company. Now, now that I'm elevated though, now that I'm in this identity, my identity continues to evolve. Now I'm even wanting to work less. So now I'm embodying the identity of someone who really works a lot less, who can make money in a span of minutes. That's what I'm trying to embody now. That's my goal right now. I can make money in a matter of minutes. Like money and time have no correlation. I can make like thousands of dollars in minutes. That's my new identity right now. That's what I'm striving towards. So it's all about identity, Octavia. If you want a second job or a side hustle, you can have that if that's the identity you want to embody. Same thing with the real estate that you want to invest in. Everything is about embodiment. How would the you who owns real estate be acting like? Would you be right now looking for real estate to invest in? Would you be right now on a website looking for real estate? Yes, you would. So why aren't you doing that? Is the same thing with me. When I wanted land, I wasn't looking for land, but it just found me. But I was like, I own land already. I'm a landowner. And I kept telling myself that. Eventually someone came in with a good deal and told me my aunt was driving by and saw like, "Hey, I saw this piece of land at this much money. I think you should buy it." And tell me how, I don't even know how the heck I got the money for it, but it happened. I manifested the money for it. The money came in out of nowhere, purchased the land. Now I own 4 pieces of land. So it's just about embodiment. Like we really don't need to do anything. We really don't need to lift a finger except for when we're called to and when the action is called to, and that's it. But it starts all with your identity. Who are you? Are you really a person who can own land, who can do real estate, who can invest? Are you really a person who can manage two jobs or a side hustle? It's all about identity. All right, I hope that helps, Octavia. Okay, let's see. All right, let's go with Joy 6. How about unwanted proposals other than SP? And it triggers you because you just don't like it. I took a stand today, though, by saying I am not interested in my family members. I just don't focus on what I don't want ever. That's my answer to you. I don't. Me, I personally, I am very stubborn in what I desire, and I only focus on new story. I don't complain. I don't whine about my circumstances. I don't care about my circumstances. My circumstances to me are funny AF, and I just don't give two poopies about circumstances. You will never hear me talk about circumstances. In fact, you guys never know my circumstances until I talk about how I overcame them. Because I really, really, really never focus on circumstances because I know better. Because I want what I want so bad, so bad that I will not look at the circumstances. I will not pay attention. I will not give an ounce of my being to circumstances. To me, all circumstances are bridges. I don't care. I don't care about what I'm seeing in my 3D. I want what I want, so I'm going to continue focusing on what I want. That's how I am. That's how I treat it. So I never look, I never complain, I never whine, I never pay attention to circumstances. If I see them, I'm like, I'm acknowledging it and I'm like, okay, this is what I created so far, but I'm not going to create something new by focusing on them, by giving a shit about it. So I don't do that. So to me, nothing. I have a very, very one track mindset. I have one job, and my one job is to be that identity and to be that person who already has her desire. That's it. I don't do anything else. Okay, let's see. Sadaf says, we believe that circumstances don't matter. And while maintaining the state, we focus on 4D, that we are living a happy life with SP, and we ignore the 3D. But when we persist, the 3D conforms. So, in the situation when the 3D is exactly the way we wanted, isn't it again suggested that we should not focus on 3D even if it's a desired one? And rather, we should focus within at this point as well. Please guide on this. I think again, I'm gonna frame this. It's simple. The identity of you who already has. How would they be acting? How would they be thinking? How would they be feeling? That's our one job. That's our only job. It's like being that person. So who are you as that person who already has that relationship? Let's forget about 3D for a little bit and let's forget about circumstances for a little bit. But how do you need to act and think on a daily basis for you to be so stubborn that you are maintain that you need that to survive? You need to be that person to survive. So think of it as like you needing that to live. If someone was to tell you, if you do not act and feel and think like the person that has their desire, you're gonna die tonight. Think of it like that. And if you start to think like, okay, this is urgent, I need to be this person right now, because if not tonight, I'm gonna die. How would you be acting? That's how much you want the change. That's how much I want my change. I am like, I put so much urgency on my change, on changing my identity in that way, that to me it's a live or die situation kind of way. Like, how bad do I want this? that I am going to maintain that identity no matter what is hitting me in the face. No matter if someone comes in and smacks me in the face physically, how much am I not willing to drop my character? How much am I willing to not react because I'm going to die tonight if I drop my character, if I drop my persona, if I drop the identity of already having, how bad do I want it? That's how I see it. I am not going to drop my main character persona for anyone, for nothing, for nothing in 3D. I'm not going to because I want it so bad. I want it so bad. That's when I manifested my SP, I did not drop my character of the person who was already in a loving, committed relationship. I did not drop my assumptions about this person being the best boyfriend ever, who now is the best boyfriend ever, who now is loyal and faithful, who shows me proof of that because I never dropped it. No matter how much inconsistency I would see in my 3D where he was not showing up yet, he was not calling yet, I did not care. I did not care. The same thing with me leaving my job, my 9 to 5. I did not drop my persona even if I was in that freaking meeting being annoyed. Me being mistreated or whatever, or being or doing a job that I hated, or freaking commuting to a job that I freaking disliked. You think I dropped my persona? You think I dropped being the identity of being who I wanted to be? No. I wanted what I wanted. It's same thing right now with what I'm manifesting right now every day. I don't drop my identity. I am that person all the freaking time. I don't care how many times the circumstance or the 3D has to come and smack me in the face. I'm not going to pay attention. I have one track mind. I have one job to be the person who already has it right now, not tomorrow, not in a week. You don't see me ask, is it going to take a week? Is it going to take a month? How long does it take? No, right now. I'm always that person. I have it right now. Oh, it didn't happen today? Well, too bad, bitch. Tomorrow it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Period. Conviction. That's who I am. That's me. I made that. I made me that way. No one's going to make you that way. Nobody's coming to save you. Go ahead, pay a fucking guru, pay a fucking coach at $1,000 for a fucking course. But if you don't change, if you don't hold yourself accountable, you're not getting shit. You're not gonna get shit. And I hope you guys understand that. No coach is going to make you want to be the identity that you need to become and it's going to hold you accountable. No coach is going to come in and tell you, please, please think about what you want only. No coach is going to do that. They're going to do it for a little bit. But then what? Then when your coaching is done, what? What are you going to do? You're going to blame the coach because you can't be strict, because you can't be stubborn with your new identity, because you're seeing a little circumstance that's throwing you off. So let me go complain. Let me go complain in the Discord. Let me go complain. Let me go cry about it. Let me go cry about the same crap that I always cry about because I rather focus on what's bothering me than me focusing on what I actually want. No one is going to make you a better person but you. No one is going to get your desire but you. No one has the power to do that. And if you keep giving your power away to the circumstances and the 3D, that's on you, baby. That's on you, baby girl. That's on you, baby boy. That's all you. It's no one's fault but you. Because you can't have a one track mind and you can't focus on what you want, but you're very here complaining and whining and bitching about the 3D, like their parents said this, my mom said that, he told me he can't do this, he blocked me. Oh, so what? You created that to begin with. Why are you bitching? Why are you bitching about what you created in the first place? He is ignoring me. Yeah, well, you're an ignorable person. That's your identity. You're an ignorable person. People don't like you. And nothing's going to change until you become the person that is likable, that is unignorable. Like nothing is going to change because you don't change. You want your circumstances to change so that then you can be happy and then you can be the person who's pursued love. You can't do that. You're working against the tide. You're working against the flow. The flow, everything is organized with the universe and the God and whatever you want to call it in spirituality. Everything has an order. The order is I change, circumstances change. I change, I align to a version of people that align to that new identity. That's it. So if you don't change, forget it, baby. You ain't getting what you want. You are not getting what you want. If you haven't changed, if you feel like the same person, because I can tell you, I am not the same person I was 4 years ago before I found the law. Before I found the law, I was a very insecure person, very insecure, very, uh, I have to hustle mindset, very, realistic, very, life is hard kind of person, very why am I so unlucky when I am such a good person kind of person, very victim mentality kind of person. That's who I used to be. But I can tell you with full confidence, I can tell you with full confidence, I am not that person anymore. I am a completely new being. I am a new person. I am a new character. I am a new avatar. But are you? Can you with confidence say that you're a new person? Can you with confidence say, I am no longer my old me, the old version of me? I am a new person and I know I am. Can you say that with confidence? Or are you still being the little whiny little baby with a victim mentality that poor you, everything bad happens to you? Really ask yourself that. Because the 3D, my dear people, doesn't lie. The 3D does not lie. And here's an example, and I'm not trying to call you out, but here's an example on this thing right here. So now the girl that SP always commented on in Facebook kept reacting to his post. Well, he stopped doing that. The tables turned. Don't focus on any girl. Don't focus on the version of him you don't want. Focus on who are you? I'm the choice. I'm the one who's pursued. I am in a relationship with a man who is so faithful that he could never look the other way. That's what you need to focus on. I've seen you focus on so many wrong things, on so many things that you shouldn't be focusing on. But you don't drop that. You don't change. So that's why your reality doesn't change. That's why you're still not in the relationship you want to be. You have never changed your identity. And I'm not trying to call you out, but I'm trying to help you here because this is what this is for. I'm trying to help you because I've seen you since we had the WhatsApp group, and you have never once changed your identity. You're still the old you. Since you've been in my group, you have yet to change your identity fully. You're always focusing on what your specific person is doing, and you're never focusing on changing who you are. And guess what? That's the reason why you've been in the group for so long and get half-ass movement. That is why you get half-ass movement. Because you don't change you. You don't change your identity. What's your stance on time while manifesting and how did you deal with it? Time does not exist. I have it now. Period. That's my stance. Always been my stance, will always be my stance, continues to be my stance. Time is irrelevant. I always get what I want. I'm stubborn. If I want what I want, it doesn't fucking matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter. I want what I want, period. Do you want what you want bad enough? Do you really want what you want bad enough? Or is it a conditional? Well, if I don't get it next week and if I don't get it in a month, then I don't want it anymore. Then if that's the case, drop it. You don't, then it's not your desire. It's not for you. If I don't get it in a month, then I might not want it. All right. Guess what? Your subconscious doesn't care. The universe doesn't care. You're not gonna submit the universe to your, well, if you don't give it to me in a month, then it doesn't care. It doesn't care, darling. You're not going to manipulate the universe. You're not going to manipulate your subconscious to giving it to you at the time that you want. You want it fast? Act like that. Act like the character who already has it. Act like the person who already has it. The only reason why you don't have it right now, you have no damn conviction. You have no damn conviction and you're focusing on shit that you should not be focusing on. It's that simple. People who don't have their stuff right now, you're focusing on the wrong stuff. People who don't have it right now, you're focusing that you can't have it. It's not for you. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe I can't get it. Maybe it's too hard. I've been doing this for so long. You know what? If you don't have it, check if you're being a whiny baby. Check if you're being a whiny baby. Because whiny babies don't get their shit. I can tell you that. Every time I seen a whiny baby in my Discord or in my group, they're the ones who don't get it. You know the ones who get it really fast? The confident personas, the confident, convicted, the people who have conviction. The people who have always manifested fast, they have damn conviction. They're like, nothing is gonna stop me from getting what I want because I already have it. I already have it. I already have it. Yeah, but your SP is with someone else. I don't care. I already have it. Yeah, but your SP is about to get married. I already have it. Yeah, but you don't have a job. Yeah, but I already have it. Everything's working out in my favor. Those people are the one who get things fast. You're not gonna manipulate the universe or God or subconscious to give you what you want at the time that you want by saying, well, if I don't get it in a month, then I don't want it anymore. Then drop it right now. You don't really want it. You don't really want it. Okay, I'll take one more question because I have to get to working out. So I'll take one more question. Any last question, guy? Because I have to start working out right now. How do we feel being loved, chosen, prioritized within? How would that identity of you be acting right now without someone telling you to do that, without someone showing you that? How can you act like someone who's being loved, chosen, prioritized right now? How can you act like that? You need to give it meaning. What does even love to you mean? Because love to me can mean very many different things than to you. How does chosen feel to you? That could mean many different things to me than to you. How does prioritize mean to you? Because that could mean something different to me than to you. And how can I act like that without expecting someone else to do that right now? How can I feel like that right now? If I am loved, aren't I loved? Aren't I loved and can appreciate being loved if my parents cook a meal for me? Isn't that love? Aren't I loved if I have a roof over my head? Aren't I prioritized if I decide that I'm going to go work out right now? I'm prioritizing me, my time, my body. Aren't I chosen? Aren't I chosen if a friend decides to call me up and say, hey, do you want to go to the movies? Might not be my SP, but it's a friend. Aren't I chosen if a friend decides to call me up and say happy birthday? There are so many ways to feel that, but we ignore them. We ignore them because we think only if RSP says this, then I am that. Then I am that. Then I am that person. Then I'm that person. Then I can feel like that. Once my SP tells me I am loved, or that he's choosing me, or once my SP calls me in the morning, then I'm prioritized. Then that's when that happens. Because we're so focused on the lack that we don't focus on what we already have. Aren't I loved, chosen if other people come and do things for me or show me how much they love me? Aren't I loved if my cat, if I had a cat or if I had a dog, comes and sits on my lap? Aren't I chosen? Why are we so focused on the lack of things in our life when we already have so much abundance of everything? That's what you need to ask yourself. Why am I focusing on the lack when I have an abundance of everything already? Why do I need proof? Why do I need proof to feel this way from a person, from one person, while I completely disregard everything else in my life? Ask yourself that, because that's what we usually do. All right, guys, I am going to prioritize myself right now. I am going to go work out. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope this session was enlightening. I know that it was very rant related and very passionate, but that's how I feel about my desires, to be honest. I'm very passionate and I'm very stubborn about my desires. And I'm very stubborn about my new identity and the identities that I embody. So, yeah, there's something I did learn is that if you don't change, and if you don't change your beliefs, and if you don't change who you are, nothing is going to change. Don't expect the change to happen if you don't change. If you're still the same person you were yesterday, don't expect tomorrow to be any different. So that's the only thing I can leave you with. If you're still asking the same questions you were as a person you were yesterday, that's showing that you have not changed, that you're still the same person. Don't expect tomorrow to be different. That's all I can tell you. Because the only way change happens is if you change. And if you don't want to change, that's completely fine. Just don't complain about tomorrow. Don't complain about your circumstances. The circumstances are happening because you don't change. Okay, that's it. There's no one else but you creating those circumstances. There's no one else but you creating the 3D. Stop blaming everything outside of yourself. It's all you. Stop giving your power away, because that's giving your power away. Something is causing this to happen. No, it's not. You are. You are. It's a big slap in the face. But I hope it makes you react. I hope it makes you think, damn, I really need to change. Damn, I really need to stop being the person I was a minute ago. Damn, I really need to stop thinking like the person that was thinking a minute ago. Damn, I really need to stop feeling like the person I was feeling a minute ago. I just hope it wakes you up, because you can have it all, but not with the attitude that people currently have. Not with the attitude of let me complain and whine about my 3D and my circumstances. Not with the identity of I'm a victim. You're not going to get what you want with that kind of mentality. It's just not going to happen. You need to get out of that victim identity and that victim persona. And I see a lot of that in the Discord. The circumstances channel should not be as busy as it is. And it's the busiest channel that we have, the circumstances and the venting. The circumstances and the venting is the busiest channel. And that's it's crazy. You know what channel should be very busy? The success stories. That channel should be extremely busy. Not the venting, not the circumstances. That should be the least channel used. And it's the one that's the busiest. The one with the most questions. The one with the most, I don't like my circumstance right now. What do I do? Stop being a victim. That's the answer to everything. Stop being a victim. Change who you are. Stop trying to change your parents. Stop trying to change your SP. Stop trying to change their parents. Stop trying to change the third party. You need to change. No one else. Anyway, that's all for now, guys. Take care. I'll upload this to YouTube. Bye.